roaming gangs packed with extremely aggressive males. Together, they kill any roaming male that happens to be nearby. Extremely fierce, they launch violent assaults that do not stop until hours of bloody torment have passed. Even cubs and females might fall victim to this terrifying savagery, unleashed by one of the most notorious lion coalitions in African history. It is the bloody Mapogo coalition, with its warrior who preferred to stay away from the spotlight and fame, even though he was the key to war, the destroyer of beasts, the Tank Dreadlocks. This lion was so fearsome that the Rangers were forced to kill him to give other prides a chance to survive in an attempt to allow them their share of land and territory. Their chances against this massive lion were utterly non-existent, not only because of his gigantic body, but also because of his unprecedented courage. Nothing could stand in front of Dreadlocks without being destroyed, and he would only hunt the largest of animals. While his brothers targeted rhinos, buffaloes, and smaller prey, he alone would charge into battle with massive, enraged hippos, or climb onto the tallest giraffes to seize their necks, bringing them down bloodied, suffering a slow death in the claws of this terrifying tank beast. From the time he was a cub with his 4 brothers, born into the Sparta pride between 2001 and 2002, they were destined to become a terrifying future for the plains and forests of the Masai Mara. These cubs were a threat to everyone, even to their own kind, for it is estimated that about 100 lions were killed by this fearsome coalition. Their power grew when they were joined by a lone older male from outside Sparta called Mapogo, who came from Kruger National Park. Like the other cubs, he had once faced death early in his roaming life and survived by a miracle. Their lives continued as they learned surprise hunting methods and survival tactics by observing other older lions, especially after the addition of their older brother Mapogo, the experienced hunter, who was 2 years their senior. Photographers and filmmakers noticed how unusually united these young lions were. Never before had anyone seen a coalition of 6 powerful lions with no disputes over leadership. The leader of the coalition was simply the eldest brother. After building his massive body, Dreadlocks was content to remain the unknown soldier, the key to war. The crushing lion that ended disputes among his brothers when conflicts began to arise as they grew stronger and more violent, each eager to prove themselves. This was especially true as they dominated different prides of females, each brother trying to demonstrate his ferocity to secure mating rights. Dreadlocks and his brothers had gruesome killing methods. They attacked without mercy, and they managed to control more than 700,000 square kilometers, over half the size of South Africa, for nearly 6 years. At the peak of his youth and strength, Dreadlocks terrified everyone. Alongside his brothers, their coalition was feared by all. No lion dared to meet them, every beast avoided them, and none dared trespass on their territory or even approach their borders. But decline was inevitable, especially as disputes over leadership and power began. Division was the breaking point that would bring an end to the golden years of this terrifying coalition. And indeed, the coalition split into 2 groups. Dreadlocks chose to stay with Mapogo, the older and wiser brother, as well as Pretty Boy and Rasta. Meanwhile, Mr. T, nicknamed the Devil for his grotesque savagery, went with his inseparable brother Kinky Tail. This split was the downfall of the Mapogo Empire, a coalition that would forever remain a bloody and terrifying chapter in the history of legendary lions. Yet no lion, despite the division, could dare invade Mapogo territories, especially those ruled by Mapogo, supported by the Tank Dreadlocks, who alone could repel any intruder unlucky enough to cross into their domain. He would chase them far beyond the borders or rip them apart if they dared to stand against him. The Rangers, who had spent years gathering stories and making documentaries about these lions, especially the terrifying Dreadlocks, had no choice but to end his life, to give new lions a chance to form coalitions that might rise in power and claim some of the fame long dominated by the ferocious Mapogo brothers. The story of the Mapogo truly ended with the death of Dreadlocks. Weakness and division spread among them, and other prides began to take their chances at attacking, seeking revenge and retribution for the many lions that had fallen to the coalition over the years. The story of dreadlocks will remain etched in the minds of all wildlife lovers for decades to come. Tales will continue to be told about this massive, ferocious lion who created a terrifying history alongside the strongest lions in Africa at that time.